in Camping World in Louisville, Texas. They've been very, very nice to invite us here to do a review of the Coleman 17B and the 17R. We're here today with Colby.
How's it going, guys?
And if you have any questions, you can certainly call here and talk to him. He'll be happy to help you. All right. Now, we've talked about the 17B. Now, you know, we are 17B people. That's what we do, all right? And we talk about it. But I also like to talk about the 17R. When we bought our 17B in 2022, they hadn't come out with the 17R yet. If I had to do all over again, I think we would have bought the 17R. But we can't go back in time. But I still want to show you the 17R. And I want to talk about the fact that the 17B and the 17R are no longer built by Dutchman. They're now built by Keystone. It says so right there. And Keystone took some of the things that they already do in some of their models and put them in the 17B, as well as, like I said, with the 17B and 17R, they apparently went to our website, and a lot of the things that we did, complained about, or upgraded, they decided to go ahead and put in the 17B and the 17R. For example, one of the things that Keystone does is this. They have this little thing here for storing stuff like your there you go, like your cables and your keys. How about that? Isn't that cool? Really totally unnecessary, but that shows that they're thinking a little bit ahead. Right? You know, thinking about how can we make this a little bit better. All right. So that's one of the things. The other thing you see here is connections for solar. You can hook up solar in a couple different ways here. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, if we go outside, we notice, there we go. Now, get a good shot of this. Look at this. It goes all the way through. It really does. One of the big problems with the 17R and the 17B, of course, was that ridiculous teddy bear mattress. This mattress here is 100 times better than the teddy bear mattress. It's still not, I don't know, great, but it is pretty darn good. And if I had to, I could sleep on this. I would still probably get a new mattress from Amazon or one of the companies that make mattresses for RVs. I would consider that. But this isn't bad. This really isn't bad. But like I said, it's not great. Okay, so I'd probably replace this. Another thing that you might notice behind me is the shelf is higher than it is on the 17B or the 17R, and it's a little bit deeper. You might also notice the fact that they've got a wardrobe right here on the side. Now, one of the problems with the 17B and also with the 17R was the way the bed was laid out. In order to get out of bed, you had to kind of crawl down to the end of it and then come out. And this meant crawling over somebody's feet or doing something like that. In the 17R, they have changed, because the way they can do other stuff, they have changed the way the bed is laid out. As you notice, like this, you actually have, you know, if you're sleeping here, you can raise up and you can get out on either side. To me, that is awesome. The other thing you might have noticed is that the whole thing feels larger. Well, that's because it is. This thing is 6 inches taller than the 17B and the 17R was. Look at the headroom I have here. And so that's kind of cool. And that's going to come into play elsewhere. Now, I want to show you something that they did, and that is with the storage situation. All right. Notice, you remember the old 17B, 17R cabinets that had these doors that opened up like this, and you had to hold it open to reach inside it? And what a lot of us 17B or 17Rs did, we put those struts in there to hold them up. But you don't have to do that, because they've done this, and that's pretty good. And these magnets seem to work pretty well. All right, extra storage space, and it's extra storage space because this is taller. These things are actually a little bit taller, so that's kind of cool. But look at this, right down here under the sink storage. That's kind of weird. How were they able to do that? Do you remember that the great big electric fireplace that used to be under the sink in the 17B and the 17R? Well, we don't have that anymore. Instead, we have a propane furnace. So you can boondock in late fall or early spring when it's kind of cold outside. and you can still have heat. You don't have to have an electrical hookup in order to have heat in your RV. How cool is that? Well, there's a trade-off that I'll talk about later. The 17R, the layout of the 17R is just so much nicer because of the absence of the bunk beds. All right. One of the complaints I had about the 17B was that all the electrical outlets seemed to be on one side. So if you were working on the table on the dinette on the computer or something, you had to run, you know, an extension cord across or something like that. This one has many more electrical outlets in the 17B or the 17R, and there are electrical outlets on both sides of the rig. So somebody's thinking. All right, let's go to the bathroom. All right. Yes, one of the neat things about the 17R is the fact that because they were able to rearrange the whole setup because of doing away with the bunk beds, was they able to put storage, wardrobes, things like that. You put towels down here in the bathroom. To me, this elevates the 17R into something a lot nicer than the 17B. What is the other thing? Well, if you're 6 feet tall, you can stand up in the shower. I can't stand up in our 17B. I have to take a shower and squat it down like this. Well, that's no big deal, really. You don't spend 5 minutes in the shower. But I can do it. But I can stand up here because of this extra 6 inches of height. The other thing that's awfully cool is instead of having a propane water heater, you have an electric on-demand water heater. Now, how cool is that? But there's the trade-off. And the trade-off is now you have a propane heater and an electric water heater, basically. So unless you are hooked up to a landline, you won't have hot water to take a shower. But you do have a furnace, whereas before, if you weren't hooked up to a landline, you didn't have a furnace. So anyway, or you didn't have a heater, all right? So that's kind of neat. But on-demand water is cool, but I can do without it for a couple of days if we're boondocking. Well, Kobe's right here like this. You know, I kind of just touched on things. There are plenty of things I could do if I bought one of these. The first thing we would do is what?
Spare tire.
Yeah. She says, I love camping, but I'm not going anywhere without a spare tire. And you can't argue with that.
There's more storage right here.
Yeah, there's more storage in lots of places. One of the first things I would do is get a water saver shower head here, because it's not because it uses up water if you're boondocking, but because even if you're not, it fills up your gray tank. All right, and you don't want to be boondocking and realize your gray tank is full. All right, so it doesn't feel any different. It doesn't get you any less clean or cleaner or whatever. This is one of the first things I would do. One of the other first things I would do, because these things rock around a bunch. Okay, they wiggle and rock. Get front stabilizing jacks. A set of them that comes with every screw, every socket, every drill bit, everything you need costs like $79 on Amazon, okay? And so get those stabilizer jacks for the front. And they'll be really good. It comes with stabilizer jacks for the back, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, and so there are things I would still get, all right? And on any of them, because you know that these are inexpensive units. Yeah, it'd be nice if you had 4 wheels, 2 axles instead of just 2 wheels, 1 axle. But when you start doing things like that, before long you've got a $25,000, $30,000 unit here. So we're starting off with one that's $16,000 or $15,999, but you're going to be able to find them on sale at various times during the year and at the end of the year and stuff like that, let's be honest. So you're going to be able to get one of these things for under $16,000, which is exactly what we paid for ours in 2022. That's amazing, all the changes they have made, and they haven't gone up hardly a dime on the price. So, you know, like I tell everybody, I don't work for Coleman. I don't work for Camping World. You know, if I see shortcomings, I'm going to tell you. And, you know, there's a few things that I would get, but I would change. But, you know, it's pretty good, really. And so I'm saying that as somebody who's giving you a critical review, you know, and once we get away from the salesman and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna tell you how to get a deal, how to save money, and all kinds of stuff like that. Don't worry about that. So stay tuned at the end of the video, and I'm gonna tell you how to do that. And I'll bet anything Coleman knows what I'm talking about.
I can help you get a good deal.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so
while we're still in the bathroom, I just wanted to point out that the toilet bowls are not porcelain. Some of the older models were plastic bowls.
yes, they were. That's pretty
So
neat.
yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, I put the slow close lids on here because you get in the middle of the night, you know, and don't want to wake up anybody else. So I put the slow close, and these are already slow close. Look at that.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they say the fridge is a hair bigger, but I mean, they
It looks like it to me, but
it's
I
a
don't know
little bit
how,
bigger.
you know, that kind of thing. I don't know. Cool. Anyway, that's the 17R. And if I had it do all over again, this is what I would have bought. Okay, come on in the door so you get out of the glare. Is there anything else you want to add, you want to say?
The only thing I'll add is the mattress this time around is going to be 70 by 80, so a little bit bigger than the old 17R mattresses.
Well, that, you know what, now that I look at it, it is. And it's not a bad mattress. It really isn't compared to, especially the teddy bear mattress. But look at this. You know, all this kind of stuff. And you got place right over here, electrical, that you can charge your stuff. That's what people use these things
CPAP
for.
machines, all that.
Yeah, right. This is what people use these little side things for, is to charge devices, things like that. And so, all right, anything else I've left out? No, that's it. All right, well, Colby, I want to thank you very much for helping us out here, and I hope people call you when they want a 17B or 17R, and you give them a good deal. But with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to make comments. We love comments. And stay tuned. Don't go away. Colby doesn't know this, but I'm going to tell you how to save money. How to save money on buying an RV. Okay, so stay tuned right here. Okay. All right. Okay, now that we're away from Camping World, I want to give you my tips on how to buy a camper. All right. Number one, look at, well, first off, number one, negotiate. You can negotiate down, you can get a better price. All right. People don't realize you don't have to come in and buy it with a sticker price. All right. Number two, look at the buyer contract or purchase contract. Okay. It'll have a whole bunch, just like buying a car. It's going to have a whole bunch of stuff on there that you may or may not need. You know, like buying a car, they'll add on that undercarriage spray or stuff like that, you know, and charge you for it unless you tell them not to. And the same thing is true with buying an RV. There's going to be a whole bunch of things on there, and they're gonna say the PMT road prep, or they'll say the 47.3 shakedown, or they'll want to sell you a membership in the Good Sam Club and a subscription to their magazine, or they're going to want to sell you a road towing service or something like that, an RV, you know, road repair or something. And if you have AAA, you probably already have that. All right. So there's going to be lots of things on there. Make them tell you what each thing is, and then decide whether or not it's something you need. All right. Are they going to run the price up another $2,000 or $3,000? They really will. But that's, car dealers do the exact same thing. So look at the contract. They're going to, no matter where you go, not just Camping World, no matter where you go, you say, well, I'm going through my credit union. They go, which one? We can do that. And they'll fill out a form. They already have them. They'll send it to credit union. Credit union will approve it, and they'll approve a whole bunch of stuff on there you didn't order on the assumption that you did order it. So look real carefully at that purchase contract. Okay. The other thing is, when it comes to negotiating, they will give you stuff. Okay, with the old 17Bs, I used to tell them that, yeah, if you go in there and say, I'll take that 17B right there, but you've got to give me a new mattress. They sell mattresses there that are pretty good. That mattress costs them maybe $80, but they sell it for $300, and they're more than happy to give you, you know, an $80 mattress for the sale. if the RV you're buying doesn't come with a television, ask for a television. You can ask for a spare tire and make it out like it's a really safety feature that you really need, and they're not going to get it for you. That's too much of a hassle. So what you do, you just say, well, if you're not going to do it, then I'm going to have to go do it myself, knock $500 off the price of the RV, since I'm going to be hunting around and getting an RV and buying a reel and a bunch of stuff like that. You can knock $500 off because you want a spare tire. A spare tire is reasonable, but they're not going to get it for you. So get $500 knocked off. So like I said, and if you call the Colby at Camping World, I already know there are some things he can give you that and don't tell the management, you know. And that's true for all these places. There are things that you know, if a salesman's going to make several $1,000s off of selling you that RV, there's stuff he can throw in, okay? Rooftop vent covers are $60 or something like that. Say, I'd like that thrown in. And he probably will do it because it's not cutting too much into his profit. A TV won't cut too much into his profit. And you talk to Colby, but you can talk to any of them, all right? But Colby already said, look, don't be sure to tell your viewers not to tell management that I'm throwing in stuff like this. But I will. All right. And so there's the deal. And there are deals like that all around. So yeah, look at the contract, make a deal for some free stuff, make a deal to get $500 knocked off because of, you know, no spare tire. A spare tire is not that expensive, but it is a hassle. Yeah, I recommend going to Discount Tire. They'll do everything. They'll sell you the tire, the rim, and probably even the mounting hardware. Although I bought the mounting hardware for my bumper off of Amazon, and I bought the rim somewhere else, and I got it all put together. And I did it for about, I don't know, $150 or something like that, for less than $200. If you go to Discount Tires, even though they will offer you a good deal for tire, rim, and they're gonna have to order it, for tire, rim, and mounting bracket, they're gonna charge you $350 because they're gonna also make money off of the labor. So, you know, you can do it yourself, do it for less than $200, or you can, either way, it's a hassle. And either way, hey, get the dealer to knock $500 off for your off the price. Okay, so there you go. There's your tips for buying RVs and your critical review of the 17B and or the 17R, depending on which video you're watching when you see this. All right, so hey, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and hey, don't forget to comment. We love your comments, we really do. All right, see you down the road.